How fast can I get Minecraft's most expensive and rarest item? Starting over with nothing and having to make over $200 million. This is going to take a lot of time, effort, and farms. So without further ado, let's get ourselves to a random location and begin making some money. And there is a stone axe, which is going to be our best friend in the early game, because now we can get wood so much faster. And with that wood, we can craft some planks, turn that into some doors, some slabs, and some trapdoors. And those can be sold for some money. And we've already sold one oak trapdoor and another one. Money is flowing in. But at the moment, we only have $30,000. And to buy an Elytra, we need over 220 million. So we still got a very long way to go. But we're off to a good start. And after crafting a load of oak furniture and selling it on the auction house, we are already up to over $100,000. And the money is still flowing in. And after that sale, we are now at $250,000. Time to initiate step 2 of making millions of dollars. And to do that, we need to find ourselves a desert, which means it's going to be a lot of randomly teleporting.
3 days later.
Well, after searching for over an hour, this is the biggest desert I have found. And now we can initiate phase 2. First step, we need gunpowder, but a stack is selling for 44,000 on the auction house, and that is ridiculous. So we'll place an order for 1,700 gunpowder, and hopefully that should be delivered soon. And there we go, instantly delivered. Perfect. So now we can collect some of that, combine it with some sand to make TNT, and start making tons and tons of money. Because when we blow up the TNT in the desert, it drops lots and lots of sand. From one TNT, we've already got over a stack and a half of sand, which we then combine with more gunpowder, turn into more TNT, and do this over and over again. And from all of the gunpowder we ordered, this is how much TNT we have. Over 5 stacks. That is going to make us some serious money. So let's quickly purchase some shulker boxes and let's get to work absolutely destroying this desert. I wonder how much money we get from 1 stack of TNT. There's only one way to find out. We've blown up the desert and we have used our stack of TNT, and this is how much sand we got. Almost 4 shulker boxes, which is worth $1 million. That's insane. So if we say each stack is 1 million, that's 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, $4 million, which will put us all the way up at $5 million. And that will be plenty to purchase everything we need for an automatic farm. So let's get to work. Let's use lots and lots of TNT and get lots and lots of sand. And after using all of our TNT, we can now sell our last remaining bits of sand. And we've turned $300,000 into 4.9 million. What a lovely money-making method. But I've had enough of working hard. I think it's time we make some automatic farms. So first things first, let's buy ourselves a nice efficiency 4 diamond pickaxe and teleport to a random location. And then we can dig down to the deep state level and start making our first ever base. Well, that took quite a while, but we now have a humongous hole, which is big enough to fit ourselves in a lovely kelp farm. And that is the first farm we are going to be building. The only issue is we are going to need a lot of resources and a lot of smokers, because this produces so much kelp. From over $4 million down to 3.1. But we do have every single item we need to make this machine. So let's get to work. Let's build this, and we can finally start making the proper money without doing a single thing. And that is the full machine built. All we've got to do now is load this thing up with bone meal, and it should work perfectly. And to do that, all we've got to do is create an order for bones at $126 per. And we'll get 5,000 for now. And our orders for bones have been delivered instantly. So let's get these all turned into bone meal, just like so, and load up the farm. And if we turn this farm on for literally 10 seconds, we have made ourselves almost 4 stacks of kelp. which is a crazy amount. The only issue now is that we've got to keep up with that demand using smokers. So we're going to have to build an absolutely insane super smelter. And that is going to require a lot more resources. So after chopping a load of trees and mining a ton of cobblestone, we can now craft ourselves stacks of smokers. And just like that, we have a super smelter with 64 smokers that goes into an auto crafter and into a shulker box loader. Is this going to keep up with all the demand of kelp? We are about to find out. We do have space to upgrade it with another 64 smokers if we need to. But for now, we need to load this thing up with blaze rods, switch the machine on, and start making some money. Well, there is a stack of blaze rods in every single smoker. Let's see if this can keep up with the demand. Here we go. Machine is on. Kelp is flowing. And after running everything for around 5 minutes, let's see if we have kelp blocks flying through the system. Yes, they are. Ooh, let's go. All right, well, the kelp has stopped flowing, which means this has run out of bone meal. And yes, it has. Okay, now we just got to wait for everything to smelt, and then we can sell the kelp blocks for lots and lots of money. Time to see how much money we have made in total. Oh, wow, that is a lot of dried kelp blocks. Hopefully it sells for maybe 700,000, and it sells for, oh, 1.1 million. Oh, wow. Okay, so now it's time to buy even more bones, refill the machine, and do it all again. 9,500 bones have been delivered. Time to turn those into bone meal. And after waiting for all those bones to process, this is what we are now left with. Over a shulker box full of dried kelp blocks. So I think it's time we sell these, buy more bones, and repeat that process over and over again. And I'll be back once we have plenty of money. Days of running this machine, millions of dollars spent on bones and blaze rods. You would like to think we would be over $10 million by now, but we only have just over 2 full shulker boxes of kelp. After building the whole machine, we were down to $3.1 million. And after selling our dried kelp blocks, we are now only at 4.2 million. So I don't think this is very efficient. If you had skeleton spawners, sure, but we're having to buy the bones and it's costing way too much. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to initiate step 3 to earn lots and lots of money. But to do that, we're going to need an amethyst axe, and these are coming in at around $7 to $11 million. And we only have 4 million. So I think it's time we go and blow up some more desert. 20,000 gunpowder ordered, and a little while later, we now have so much TNT, and I have figured something else out. Normally, we sell normal sand, but if we instead combine it with gunpowder to make some TNT, I have figured out that that sells for a lot more money on orders. So we're actually going to keep blowing up the desert, ordering gunpowder, combining them, and selling TNT. And to prove this method is really fruitful, we're going to sell our whole 2 shulker boxes of TNT to see how much we can get. Well, there's 320,000 off just over a stack. There's another 816,000 after just over another stack. There's 3 million just after a few stacks. So as you can see, this is very, very fruitful. And we will sell the rest of this for 1.5k each, and that is $2.5 million. We are up to 7.7. Ooh, that is very good. Let's keep doing this. Let's keep making lots and lots of money. And after even more exploding and much more crafting, we now have a lot more TNT. Over 3 shulker boxes worth. And that is worth 2.6 million there, 5 million there, and 7.6 million there. Which means in total, we now have almost $13 million. Which means we can get ourselves an efficiency 5 amethyst axe with 17 hours remaining. And that means we can now initiate phase 3 of the money making methods. But we need to do a bit of work before we can do it. So let's go back to our home and blow some more stuff up. And there we go. That is a nice hole, and it does work for the purpose we need. The reason we need this axe and this hole is because we're starting to grow trees down here. Very, very tall trees. And this amethyst axe one-shots the whole tree and drops everything. The only issue is I don't really want to go down there and pick them up. So we can do something to collect all the drops for us. So let's grab some resources and get to building. All right, let's test if this will solve our problems. It's a bit lopsided. Maybe we should go out a few more this way. Just like that. So now if we grow a tree, grow it, chop it down, all of the resources are now picked up automatically. But you may be wondering, why do we need tons and tons of logs? That is because you can turn logs into planks and then into chests, which people actually buy in bulk. This guy wants 10,000 chests at $290 each, which is pretty crazy, especially because you can get so many logs by just sitting here, chopping down trees and making it auto-craft the chest for you. So that is what we need to work on next. So let's drop down and let's build our auto-crafting system. And that is looking pretty good. It's pretty messy, but it does work. We have item sorters, we have auto chest crafters, shulker box loaders. I think it's time we now give this a go. So let's place some order for some bones, craft some bone meal, and let's get growing. We'll give this a 5-minute test and we'll see how much it can produce and if it can even keep up with the demand. Okay, 4 saplings left. Let's chop that tree and let's go down and see if this is working. The best way to find out is see if the item filters have messed up. And they are looking pretty good. Okay, perfect. These are filling up with saplings and sticks. And this should be full with a few chests. Oh, yeah. Okay, I think it's time we do a nice few hours on this. See how many chests we can get and make lots and lots of money. Let's go. Well, after using a whole inventory of bone meal, let's go and check out what we managed to get. At the moment, we are waiting for all these logs to process. There are a lot. And while we're waiting for all those to process, we can sell our amethyst axe for 12.5 million. Sounds good to me. And there we go. We just sold it. Perfect. That's an easy 2 million profit. And we should get many, many millions from all of these logs. The chests have stopped flowing, which means only one thing, that all the wood has processed. And this is how many chests we have got. Over 5 shulker boxes full. That is immense. But the big question is, how much can we actually sell these for? 300 each. This guy wants 250. There's 1 million, 255 each. There's 2.4 million. And that is everything sold. So in around 10 minutes, we have made ourselves over $2.5 million. That is better than any kelp farm I have ever seen. Oh, that one looks good. 1 day, 18 hours, $10 million. I'll be taking that. Thank you very much. Time to make a ton more chests. Alrighty, I have used a whole inventory full of saplings. Let's go and see how many chests we have got. Oh, wow. Everything is overflowing. Oh, no. Oh, my word. Look. The chests are overflowing everywhere. Okay, it should all now be fixed. We had a few sorting issues, but now we are looking all good. The only issue is, I don't know if we have messed up. Were we actually getting shulkers of chests? Oh, yes, we were. Okay, perfect. I don't know how many fell on the floor, but it's okay. We'll be fine. And that should stop all further sorting issues. It will stop all these getting blocked up. It will stop the chests overflowing. And we can finally turn this on and have no issues in the future. Well, at least we've got a load of shulker boxes already, and they're still flowing very, very nicely. So let's let all these process, and let's see how much money we have made. Sweet. Okay, let's get this shulker box mined up. And in total, we have over 2 rows of shulker boxes. Oh my word, that is beautiful. How much is that in money terms, though? Oh, 10 million. That's insane. Well, now we're at $12.67 million. Don't even start in the comments. It did take us like an hour, though, which is the only issue. Because if we need $239 million, that's going to take us almost 24 full hours. So we may have to set up a good automatic farm. But on this server, kelp is the best thing to grow. So we are going to turn this small little farm into a big 240 module kelp farm. The only issue is it costs like $25 million to build, so we need to rip all of this down, make a ton more chests, and sell them. So it should take maybe 2 hours to do everything. But I think we're going to start with ripping all of this down because that's pretty fun. Beautiful. That's all gone now. Time to load in the one we actually need to build and see the size of it. Oh my word. This thing is absolutely gigantic. That is a lot of blocks we have got to mine out. Oh, wow. Okay, when it's turned more like this is okay. That's not too much to mine out. But look at all of this. Wow. But we have a job on our hands. Let's get to blowing up this wall. All right, that's all nicely cleared out. Now it's time to buy everything we need. Of course, we don't need to buy like all the different colored blocks. We just got to buy all the redstone stuff and then get to work building it. Okay, that is a lot of materials. 17 stacks of hoppers. The chests we already produce. 4 stacks of smokers. 4 stacks of powered rails. Okay, yeah, this is going to cost a lot. The hoppers are the main thing. Let's get 18 stacks of those real quick. Each stack of hoppers is currently going for 100,000. That's going to cost us 1.8 million. Wow. Okay, there we go. There's our hoppers. Next up, we need 270 chests. 5 stacks of those. All right, that should be enough wood for chests. Well, there's 4 stacks. Just 1 more stack now, please. And there we go. Thank you very much. That's the chests taken care of. Time for many, many more resources. So let me get all of these real quick and I will be back. And that should be every single redstone item that we need brought. They're all in green. All the ones in red are just, I think, decorative blocks, but we'll find out. We are left with 8 million, which is not what I was expecting. So that does mean we can actually get to building this insane monster. We'll start from the bottom and we'll work up and up and up until we've got ourselves, hopefully, our best friend for this challenge. Because if this thing can make us 300 million, perfect. And after placing those, the farm is now finished. All we have to do is fill this with shulker boxes, just like that. And then fill this with bone blocks and this with blaze rods, and the farm will then work. Okay, 375 is the going price for bone blocks. Let's order 10,000 of those. And let's get to buying plenty of blaze rods to fill this machine with lovely fuel. All right, that's all been delivered. Well, we need a lot more blaze rods. So you know what that means? It's time to go and get a ton more chests and plenty more money. That is a very nice amount of chests. Oh my word, that is going to be millions. Ooh, 401 per chest. That is going to be very nice. How much? 24 million, but we didn't sell them all. We got 3 million. Okay. 400 per, then it drops to 352 per, then 351, and then it just drops off fully. All right, and this should be the last few chests. Yes, it is. All of those are sold, and we're now up to $18 million. And we still need to sell our amethyst axe. And we should be able to sell this axe for around $11 million. Let's do 11.5. But we have money. We wanted some to make an order for blaze rods, and we can now do that. Let's do 150.07 per. And we'll order... 60,000. That should be plenty. And that was pretty much instantly completed. Wow. This is going to be a lot of blaze rods. Oh, wow. Look at this. Well, hopefully that is enough fuel for the whole farm now. Oh, I hope these don't despawn. Oh, no, we're good. We're good. They're fine. Okay, good. They all went in. Whew, I thought they were going to despawn. Does everything now have blaze rods? By the looks of it, yes. And there are a load in the chests. Oh, wow. Okay, we may have over-ordered that. That's fine. All right. Let's now spend the remaining $9 million we have on bone blocks. And we can finally start making money from this farm. 20,000 of those will do. It's now time we turn the farm on and watch this make plenty of money. Oh, yeah. And after a couple hours of AFKing, we now have plenty of dried kelp. But we are out of bone blocks, which is an issue. But the good thing is we still have tons of blaze rods. So what we're going to do is we're going to sell all of these dried kelp blocks for $15 million. And then we're going to create a massive order for 70,000 bone blocks for 27 million. And that was completed pretty quickly. So let's get all of those deposited into the farm. Wow, look at all of those. That is a lot of bone blocks. But thankfully, they all made it into the farm. They are now being auto-crafted into bone meal, which you can then use to power our farm for many more hours. And after processing all of those bone blocks, we have managed to get ourselves almost half a double chest worth of dried kelp blocks. So we spent $27.3 million buying the bone blocks, and we have made ourselves $32.5 million back. That is not too bad. The only issue is we are needing over $300 million, so we're going to have to do that process quite a few times. So let me create another order for bone blocks, get those deposited in the farm, and do that over and over again until we have around $250 million. All right, it's been a few days. We have AFK'd on a different account, which is why my playtime hasn't gone up that much. But we have got plenty of dried kelp blocks. I don't know how much this is going to be worth. Hopefully tens of millions. But there's only one way to find out. $712 each. We'll take that. One inventory is... $40 million. Oh, yeah. And we still have over a full inventory more. There's another 42 million. There's another 40 million. And last but not least, 22.27 million, which puts us at over $100 million. And that's not even the best part. We may be out of bone blocks, but we are not out of blaze rods. Every single furnace is full with a full hopper, and we have got chests upon chests of blaze rods still to use. So we need to spend all $104 million on bone blocks, get this farm nice and full again, and run it again. Welcome in our second account, and time to go AFK for many more hours. Well, it's been around a day and these are all still smelting, but we have run out of bone meal, which is an issue, but we have a solution. We have plenty of dried kelp blocks, almost 2 double chests to sell. That is very nice. The first inventory is 42.76 million, and by the end we are up to 143, which means from $100 million we made $40 million profit. That is very, very nice. Time to keep scaling that up and up and up, which means we need to order more bone blocks. 360,000 will do. And we also need a few blaze rods because these ones at the very end are running slightly low. 50,000 of those should do. And there we go, nicely topped back up. Perfect.
A little while later.
And after many, many, many days of buying bone blocks and blaze rods and selling lots and lots of dried kelp blocks, we are now up to $302 million. But we have a lot more money in stock because if we look over here, all of these chests are full of blaze rods. That's a lot of power for the furnaces. And most of these chests are all full of bone blocks. But as you can see, quite a few of them aren't. So what we need to do is we need to put another order in for bone blocks for $389 per, and we'll order 200,000. That's $77 million. Thank you very much. And once that's done, it will take us probably around 24 hours to fully process all the blaze rods and the bone blocks, and then we can see if we have enough to finally buy an Elytra. This has taken over a week, and it might take a little bit longer because the price of Elytras are going up. As we can see here, the cheapest one is currently going for $347 million, and if they keep going up, then of course we're going to have to make more and more money. But we'll wait and see. Let's get all of these bone blocks into the system, just like so. And then we can watch the money rolling in. There we go. That's looking a little bit more healthy. So let's leave that to do what it's got to do. It's got all the fuel, all the bone blocks it's ever going to need. Now we've just got to be patient and play the waiting game. Look at that. We already have one dried kelp shulker box. And just over 24 hours later, I can now say I am like 99% sure we have enough dried kelp blocks to get ourselves our first Elytra. One inventory of kelp sells for 42.8 million. We have plenty. And this inventory should take us over the $335 million we need. Yes, it does. And we still have a lot left to sell. And after selling every single bit of dried kelp we own, we now have ourselves $516 million. We also have so many blaze rods left to use. But I think it's time we wrap this up and we get ourselves an Elytra. Auction house Elytra. And the cheapest one is 341 million. But that one has Curse of Binding and Curse of Vanishing. I want this one right here. That is now mine. Ho ho! Get in! I have an Elytra. I can fly. And we still have almost $200 million left. This is amazing. Look at us go. We are flying. We can go anywhere we want. We don't have to randomly teleport everywhere. We can find every single biome we now need. I cannot wait. Woo! If you did enjoy this video, please make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share. And I'll see you in the next one. This has been How Fast Can I Get an Elytra?